reason I'm here is to kind of show you the complexity and richness of the female capacity for sexuality. And basically to present a simple model, a roadmap, if you will, of how you can enhance yours or your female partner's sexual capacity. So this roadmap is based on a hierarchy of needs for sexual pleasure. And it's got foundational pieces and layers upon it, which I'm going to talk about to you in terms of what can inhibit or impede your sexual pleasure, how to overcome those things, building on those layers. When you're touching yourself, you are the receiver and the giver of touch. So you have to concentrate on your body. So a lot of people think that we are innately wired to be great lovers, enthusiastic perhaps, but we aren't really wired to be good lovers. Sexual skills are learned, and if people think that they innately have them, that's not necessarily true. What's happened is that they've had practice and they've actually acted on the feedback that they've received. So one of the things in terms of gaining your sexual skills is to understand what your body actually likes and do that through a lot of self-touch. Another interesting thing about understanding and gaining sexual skills is that's unique to female sexuality is the clitoris. And I love the clitoris because it's the only body part whose sole function is pleasure. And men don't have anything that's similar. Sure, they have a penis, and the head of the penis is very sensitive, but it's also used for urination. We as women have this body part that solely is to give and receive pleasure. Research has shown with partner sex, sexual satisfaction increases when they know that their partner accepts their preferences and needs. So the more that you can communicate and negotiate your sexual needs with your partner, it's going to result in increased sexual satisfaction for you. Let's talk about sexual fantasy and the way it can enhance your sexuality. So sexual fantasies, a lot of women are afraid to think about using sexual fantasy as an enhancement technique to make their sex lives better. But research has shown that 95% of people have fantasized at one time in their life. And some of the benefits is that sexual fantasies allow us to actually try out behaviors we may be a little scared to ask our partner for, try out first in your head. An interesting fact is that women tend to use fantasies more when their sex lives are going well, while men tend to fantasize more when their sex lives are going bad. So women tend to fantasize more when their sex lives are good because they're drawing on the richer experiences they're having versus when their sex lives are bad and they don't have that to draw on. Another thing about sexual fantasy is that they're pretty common. And one of the most common fantasies, because people always say, well, I'm worried about fantasizing about someone else when I'm having sex. And who cares if you're fantasizing about someone else when you're having sex? You don't have to tell your partner. But if you think about it, the #1 most common reported sexual fantasy is thinking about your current partner. And doesn't that make sense? Because you've had enjoyable experiences with that person. So when you need to get aroused, you're going to think back to those prior experiences where you enjoyed yourself, and it's going to be with that current partner.